Hey guys, welcome to Staying Salty. If you haven't been here before, my name is Miranda, and this week we're going to be talking about knowing when the right time is. The right time to make the next step, the right time to take a step back, the right time to call your doctor or to switch medicines or to go in the hospital. How do you know what that next step is, and how do you follow that intuition?
I got cystic fibrosis. See, I've got cystic fibrosis.
So intuition and I have had this very weird relationship because I'm a paradox of two completely different extremes, one of which is constantly riddled with anxiety and second guesses everything, and then the other side is so stubborn and strong-willed and knows exactly what she wants and when she wants it and what she can handle and what she can't. But at the same time, knowing what I can handle, I sometimes second guess myself with that because this year especially has proven I can handle so much more. Probably 90% more than I ever thought I could. So, I guess that cough brings me to my next part in this. I've been sick for a while. And I'm currently dealing with this hard balance, kind of bring us back to the balance topic we had a couple of weeks ago, of knowing, this deep knowing that something is wrong and I need to be in the hospital and I have to take care of all of these things. But then knowing that there's other things in my life I also have to be there for currently. And how do I do both? And which one is more dire in this moment in time? Because there are deadlines with other things that can't be put off because life doesn't stop because you're in the hospital. So I've been doing all of these orals at home and all of these other things to try to prolong the inevitable. But I know I'm coming to that point where I have to take time away from life to take care of myself. Intuition with knowing what is right could sometimes just be morally right and common sense, or it could be a little bit more complicated, like me dealing with the things in my life currently. Knowing, no one can tell you what you should know. No one can tell you how to follow your gut or what your gut is telling you, because only you know yourself best. Only you know all of these things that play into knowing what is right for you. And because I'm this weird paradox, I don't always make the correct decisions, but I'm human. And I've learned, because of being human and making the wrong choices, that I need to learn from them. And from learning from those mistakes, which I don't even want to see as mistakes because I'm growing from it. And even though later on in life it might not have been the best choices that I made, they were the best choices for me in that moment because it's what I could handle. Growing up, I had to be an advocate for myself. I had to know exactly what was wrong, what I needed, what I couldn't handle. I had to know these things. And my boundaries were constantly being pushed to expand what I could handle, but I always knew what I couldn't. And knowing that early on, because I had to be this advocate for myself, the only person I had in my corner fighting for me was my mom. I didn't have a steady team of doctors until I was around 13. And I haven't had one since I was 18. So I've never had this team that knew me. And so it's been a very rare occasion that I've actually had a team that knew me and knew what's best for me. Not what's best on paper for some person that's not me, but what is best for me. So I've always had to have this keen sense of knowing. And over the last couple of years, I kind of lost that keen sense because doctors made me feel like I was crazy. Because I have so many things that counteract each other, and it doesn't make sense on paper. And because it doesn't make sense on paper, these doctors not knowing me it makes it harder for them to treat me the way I need to be treated as a human and medically. So because I've gone through this period of time where I did start doubting myself all the time, my therapist and I were working a lot on how do I know these different things about my body? How do I know when my lungs are about to get really bad? How do I know an infection's coming? How do I know if I'm normal people sick or CF sick? Or how do I know if my eating disorders are acting up? Or how do I know if my mania or depression or something is, how do I know these things? Because I have to be the one to tell all of these people around me what I'm dealing with, because so many of the things that I go through on a day-to-day basis are invisible and these people can't see it. And I'm the only person that can tell them, so I'm the only person that can get me the help I need. So every day I would go in and we would go through this long list of all of these things that I had to narrow down as to how did I know all of these things? I know I'm starting to get sick if, I get night sweats and I'm peeing on myself and I cough more and I'm more irritable and angry. Or is it the same irritable and angry and mood swingy as I get when I'm manic or depressed? Does one trigger the other? What are the things that trigger my eating disorders? What are the things, all of these different things in my life? How do I know what's causing what? Because I'm the only one that can know the majority of these things. It probably took 2 years of us going back and forth, going down this list of figuring out what was causing me to go down all of these different paths and what was triggering certain things and what with my body was triggering other things. And it's a long list that I have in my bedroom of when I'd start to feel something, I'd write down all of the things that I noticed leading up to it. And doing that and noticing patterns was a way that I could figure out to know which choices I needed to make when, to constantly be learning from myself and my actions to improve what I can do next to better my mental health, my physical health, and just me as a person. That's one advice I think I could give, just to try to notice things around you, notice what your body's going through, notice the people around you, what's making what happen, and just taking all of that in and knowing what you need to do. With knowing when you need to go in the hospital, there's a checklist that I usually go down. Most of the time you have to play the dance with the doctors and you have to go run all these tests for them and all of these other things. Try this antibiotic and this antibiotic and this at home. Prove to them it's not going to work, because after a while you know if it's going to work or not. And, just going from there. During the process of learning all of these things that you will eventually just know by second nature, it can be really frustrating. You constantly will have that anxiety of what if this is wrong? What if I'm waiting too long? What if, whatever. And I've waited too long. I have waited too long before in my life. When I was younger, I would be so scared of going to the doctors. I would put off doctors. I would say I was fine. I can't tell you how many times I should have gotten up on that Academy stage and won an Oscar for pretending to be healthy when I wasn't, and everyone believing me, including my doctors. So it's come full circle now, because I'm begging them to put me in the hospital. When I was younger, I was begging them not to. It's just what you can handle physically and mentally is a constant battle, and only you can know what you can handle. I think this video basically is just me telling you that it's okay if you're frustrated and you don't know. And it's okay if you've never questioned anything, because you just know. If you don't know what your next step is supposed to be, try everything. Do everything you can think of. Do everything so you can't second guess yourself. And then at the end of that, you're gonna know what that next step is. And you might not even make it to the end of this long list of things that you can think to prolong the inevitable, or just, you'll know when you know. I feel like I'm just talking in circles, but I think you guys will understand what I'm saying. I hope you do, and I hope some of this was helpful for you guys. If this was and you relate to it in some way, let me know in the comments down below. Also in the comments, let me and everyone else know, how do you know what is right for you and what the next step is for you? And if you liked it, please be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it if you found it useful, subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, hit the notification bell so you can be notified every time I put up a new video. I'm going to put my social media accounts as well as the channels in the description down below. And until next time, remember to stay salty and trust your gut.